Alright, what's up everybody? Back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys having a good one. Today we're going to make a video about Damian Lillard because a lot of stuff last day or two, a lot of drama, a lot of things been spoken. And yeah, we're just gonna dive all into this Damian Lillard thing. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. Really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, all that stuff like that. I really appreciate it. It helps out a lot. And yeah, I don't want to waste any more of your time, so let's get right into it. So we all know the Damian Lillard situation. He wants to be in Portland. Portland wants to build around him. Portland doesn't have the good enough team or the assets to build around him. And yeah, this has been going on for the last few years. Everyone wants Damian Lillard to be traded, or wants Damian Lillard to request a trade. He's too loyal. He wants to stay in Portland. We all know that already. But then the last few days, stuff has kind of come out. He's been kind of not teasing us, but he's been more transparent about some stuff. He even said it earlier in this offseason, or even I forgot when, but he said like, "Hey, I'm not gonna request a trade, but if they want to trade me, I can't really do much about it. I'll just say okay, and take it." Go on with it, which, obviously, yeah, that's the only thing he really can do. He can't veto it himself. And then Tuesday, he was on a show, Showtime Sports, The Last Stand, and they talked about the trade rumors, speculation between some of the teams that were out offering him or were in reports for him. And they asked which of those teams would he like to play for, and he said two teams' names. He said the Miami Heat, and he said the Brooklyn Nets. And those two, of course, teams that want another star player, obviously teams that want to win, make the playoffs, be competitive, I guess. And yeah, I want to talk about those two destinations real quick. What that would look like. First, for Miami, obviously they're in the finals right now, so do we really need Damian Lillard? I don't know, but they're in the finals. Apparently him and Bam are pretty close. They have Jimmy over there as well, and it would be a good fit. Obviously, I think Dame would like that. The Heat culture, the Heat need a guy like Damian Lillard just go out and score and get buckets, and that's what Dame can do at this point. But the only thing holding Miami back would be the assets that they have, because Miami does not have a lot of assets that Portland will get for Damian Lillard that they'll be satisfied with. Of course, a trade with Miami starts with Tyler Hero, who's injured right now, who's got a big contract, and Portland will be able to give him, a bigger opportunity, maybe to have a bigger role. But then again, you already do have Anthony Simons and Shaedon Sharpe, so I don't know how that would really work out. But after that, Miami does not really have any young players that would entice Portland. A lot of their team is older. After Tyler Hero, you have Gabe Vincent and Max Strus are very solid, and they're going to be free agents soon. So I don't know, we sign and trade, but even then, would Portland really take those two guys on as young? They're solid players, obviously, but would they really take those guys on? And then after that, they don't really have any young players with like Nikola Jovic. We don't really know what he can do yet. He's still very young. Would Portland want him for Damian Lillard, Nikola Jovic, Omer Yurtseven? Miami does not really have much to trade for a star in Damian Lillard. They do have the contract money. Obviously, they got Tyler Hero, they got Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson. They have the money to match. It's just they don't have the assets or the draft capital. I guess Miami does have very solid draft capital. They haven't really traded a lot of their picks to get a star after Jimmy Butler, but they haven't made any big draft pick trades, so I guess they still have some of their picks. But then again, if you're giving them Damian Lillard with Jimmy and Bam, those picks probably aren't going to be any. They're probably going to be like 20s, in the 20s. They're not going to be great picks. But then again, any team trade Damian Lillard, so you're probably not getting great picks back anyway. So yeah, and then so that's Miami. Of course, I would love the fit in Miami. Him, Jimmy, and Bam are a great big three. I think Dame would really fit into the Heat culture, but it'll just be very. I don't know if Miami will make it work for Portland's side. For Brooklyn, they have a lot of pieces as well. Dame in Brooklyn would be good. Brooklyn wants, I think, a star to kind of have, because last year Brooklyn was really good. They just didn't have a star. Mikal Bridges was their star, and Dame, accordingly, is very close to Mikal Bridges as well. So Macau might be off the table. Brooklyn might be interesting though, because Brooklyn definitely has some decent piece. They have Cam Johnson, who'll be a restricted free agent. Maybe they sign and trade him. They have guys like Spencer Dinwiddie, Joe Harris, Dorian Finney-Smith, guys with on big contracts that could make the money match. And then they also have some draft picks because they got picks in the Kevin Durant trade. They got a first round pick, I think, in the Kyrie Irving trade. I think, didn't they get a pick for James Harden as well? I'm not 100% sure. But they have some solid draft capital. They did give some up to get James Harden. They did give some up randomly. Like didn't they give a first round pickup for Royce O'Neal last year randomly? But I think that's a very interesting spot for Dame because they already have a bunch of just playoff ready players. They have Spencer Dinwiddie's, Dorian Finney-Smiths, Royce O'Neal's, Nick Claxton's, Seth Curry's, guys like that can, when Dame goes, they have some solid playoff pieces. They also have Ben Simmons. Would Portland take Ben Simmons in a Dame Lillard trade? Maybe. Who knows? Maybe they think they're the team that can give him the opportunity to, get his confidence back. I don't know. But even then, if they don't and they bring him back, that's still very. So you have Dame, McHale, whatever is left of Ben Simmons. That's a very decent team, especially in the Eastern Conference. That's a very solid team. I don't. That's not a championship team, but it's a very solid playoff team. In the Eastern Conference. Dame in Brooklyn. That's a very interesting spot as well. But another spot that's talked about a lot is the Boston Celtics. Obviously, because they did lose in the conference finals this year. They are speculation that Jaylen Brown might be on the move, and Damian Lillard, and everyone thinks that kind of swap is kind of perfect for each other. Maybe, Dame for Jaylen Brown, Dame in Boston with Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown gets to get his own team in Portland, but came out. Chris Haynes reported saying that it's not likely that Dame goes to Boston, or that he wants to go to Boston. Apparently, Dame doesn't really want to go to Boston. So that's kind of dead a little bit at this point. It made sense, for Boston to go get Dame Lillard, a guy that can elevate their team and kind of guy that would, I think, fit in nice. And then Jaylen Brown gets to have his own, thing in Portland. But, yeah, Dame doesn't want to go to Boston. So that's the thing. Other teams I mentioned, the Knicks, obviously. Which would be very solid. But they do have Jalen Brunson now, who's feeling really good. And I don't know about a Dame and Brunson backcourt, especially defensively. Would be kind of tough. So, see what happens with that. But just the Blazers in general, obviously, have been very intriguing because they do have the number 3 overall pick. And they obviously have shown signs of trading that number 3 overall pick to get a star, to put next to Dame. But it's very tough because at this point, what stars are really out there that are changing the game? The biggest star out there available might be like Pascal Siakam. And honestly, we don't even know if he's available or not because Toronto still doesn't even know what they want to do in the offseason. So getting Siakam or even getting OG would be a nice move, obviously, but is that really changing the team? Like Pascal and OG are very good players, but adding Pascal and Dame, like okay, what next? Like that team's not winning a championship. That might be a very solid 7 or 8 seed, maybe 6, but is that really changing? OG Anunoby, a really good player, ideal player next to a guy like Damian Lillard. Is that changing the team to a championship team? No. So at this point, it's like, what's really out there? Maybe the Clippers if Paul George becomes available, or the Clippers just want to blow it up. But even them, does Portland have? Well, they have the 3 pick. They have Anthony Simons. Maybe they already said no Shaden Sharp is not getting traded. So unless like Paul George comes available, then that looks a little bit better. But like there's not really any stars available right now on the market that is changing Portland from being this playing maybe a little bit less of playing team to the championship or to a contender. That's not that stuff like that doesn't happen overnight. And they even Ringer reported actually earlier today that Blazers are even open to dealing Anthony Simons if that means getting something back, which I don't know about that either. I mean, Anthony Simons, of course, very good young player, but I don't know if Anthony Simons in the 3 pick, if it's worth. I mean, I'm saying I don't know about that, meaning like, is it worth it? Is trading the number 3 pick and Anthony Simons for a star really worth it? You know, especially with the way the trade market is right now. Like maybe you can get like a James Harden, but even then, Dame and James Harden together, I don't know how that would work. We've seen James Harden play with other elite point guards, and it's been okay, but it hasn't been, great. And James Harden's used to having the ball in his hands all the time, and Dame really isn't used to not having the ball in his hands. I mean, at least Dame would shoot in the fourth quarter, but even then, is that really taking your team to the next level? Dame, Harden, and Shane Sharp. I would like it for Philly. Maybe you got Tyrese Maxey, Anthony Simons, but like, is that really changing much for Portland? Like, it's just not a great market out there to go get a superstar for your Portland. Like, you're probably gonna have to wait a little bit, and then even then, after that, you have to wait till after you already draft your player, which would be either maybe Scoot Henderson or Brandon Miller, or I don't know who else they'd be drafting at number 3. But yeah, you have to wait and see, and at that point, it might already be a little too late for trading your rookie and then Anthony Simons to get like I don't know what's gonna happen, but trading to get a star for Dame would be very tough. And then at this point, I mean, we all know that Damian Lillard is gonna stay loyal, and Damian Lillard's probably never gonna actually come out and say I want to get traded from Portland, you know. So it'll be up to really the Blazers as a management to be like, hey, it's time to move on. And I said this in my look-in video about the Blazers, which if you haven't watched it, go watch. I'll put a card up here where I talked about this. And yeah, it's a very weird situation. Dame is kind of teasing us now a little bit, or kind of making fun of us. I don't know, with all the stuff that he's saying and stuff. It's just very weird, very odd. And let's be honest, man. Dame is gonna be a Blazer next year. I mean, Dame's gonna be a Blazer next year. The Blazers, I don't know what the team will look like, but I don't think it'll be a contender, and they'll just be in this weird realm of trying to build around Dame to no avail. Honestly, that's what it's gonna be, and that's what we just gotta kind of accept. That I mean, I feel like at this point, unless they make a big move, big move, like trade Dame, or they actually trade for like a superstar player that somehow becomes available. But yeah, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing, turn notifications, all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. You have said a lot. And I will see you guys tomorrow.